don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Alex Jones is right about the atrazine and what it does to frogs.
They took atrazine.
Hype me up, I've been down too long. Now I'm back and I'm feeling too strong. No cap reactions, yeah, the whole cool on. When I drop, everybody sing along. Baby up.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to NoCap Reactions, the realest place on YouTube for unfiltered, raw, straight up honest reactions. No gimmicks, no bluffing, definitely. Nope. There's a lot of crazy shit going on, so we finna check out some motherfucking TikToks and X and all that other good shit. Shit that'll make your head spin, you feel me? Like and subscribe. Let's get it. Here we go.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Alex Jones is right about the atrazine and what it does to frogs.
They took atrazine and they put it in a tank with 40 frogs. And 30 of those frogs were chemically castrated. 4 of them turned into females and produced fertile eggs.
I don't even know what to say with that one.
I'm saying these things out of love for my fellow humans. The shot is not medicine. It is an intro-body nano network administered through. What they're finding in people are not blood clots. It is self-assembling, self-replicating nanotechnology. Lipid nanoparticles that have been modified on a molecular level, wrapped in pegylation, polyethylene glycol, one of the components that can be used to make hydrogel. The lipid particles are modified to be more sensitive to heat and frequency. When placed in the human body, they become excited from the heat. In that excitement, they vibrate. With that excitement, magnetofection is created, and the particles slowly drift towards each other, hence self-assembly. This intrabody nano network is the first step to make the human body a device linked into the Internet of Bodies. The shot also changes human DNA, rendering the person a GMO owned by a corporation. This allows for the system to freely harvest psychological, biological, genetic, and physiological data from the individual without their knowledge or permission. They are now products owned by the corporation. Again,
I don't even know what to say about that one. What the fuck? I know I ain't get the damn vaccine, so I'm good. So, let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Everybody knows the big guys handle security and the Jews watch the money.
Let's not stereotype people. It's not gonna
Oh, I'm sorry, Selena. I didn't know you were one of the chosen people.
I'm not, but you can't say stuff like that.
Just did.
Oh, shit. Man, you was trying to tell us all along, man. Oh, R.I.P., man, to one of the legends, y'all. Fuck.
I bet you didn't know this. Watch this to the end.
Reading Tiny Hat Selling the Slaves. Oh yeah, they forgot to mention all of this in the Rockefeller schools. And people say that's not true. Well, you should read this one. This guy was a rabbi who wrote this one. And you know the term layaway? That came from when rabbis were selling slaves. Yes. And this has pages and pages of all the auctions and the rabbis selling the slaves. Check this, Jacob Coven. Okay. Owned a plantation. Yes, all the plantations were ran by the Tiny Hats. 294 enslaved Africans. He was the president of the synagogue. You can just look this stuff up. And what got even deeper is I found Charleston, 1825. That was the original place of the slave marts. And they owned the merchants, they owned the ships, they owned everything. And look at this. Charleston, Tiny Hat, slave traders. Now, since the Tiny Hats owned all the newspapers, if they tried to run away, they'd put an ad up trying to get the slaves back. Then it got deeper when I found out that the Tiny Hats owned the police too. So
Tiny Hats is crazy.
They own both sides. And it's wild because there's only 2 people who actually spoke up about this. That's why it's hidden from you. And also when Christopher Columbus came over here, now you understand who Christopher Columbus was. And this is why the Tiny Hats, the Charzarians, have been kicked out of all these countries. Now you start to understand. So.
Oh my goodness. See, this is what I keep hearing about these Tiny Hats. That's, man, they've been in everything. Everything. That's who's fucking up the fucking world right now. The fucking up. Oh my God. I ain't even gonna get into it. We're gonna get into that next one. Let's go.
just when he can't think of kids any better, watch this Israeli get put into the back of a dog cage. It doesn't get much better than this. The police in Itker, Brazil, detained 3 Israeli tourists who attacked residents who were holding a demonstration in support of Palestine. Now they are investigating whether these detainees have arrest warrants for participating in the genocide in Gaza, in the case being handled by the ICJ. So now that Netanyahu's dead, now that the entire Israeli regime has been wiped off the map, who's going to get their boys out of these prisons? Because all around the world, citizens in Thailand, citizens in Brazil, citizens in Spain, they're sick of these motherfuckers. And they haven't had enough, so good luck. Because hopefully, all these IDF soldiers, they're probably on leave. They probably went and served. They made a bunch of money, and now they're going around traveling the world being degenerate little vile pieces of shit everywhere they go. Well, now when they fuck around, they're going to find out. Hopefully these scumbags end up in prison for the rest of their life. What a glorious story this would be if 3 Israeli settlers were going to be charged with the war crimes they committed and being charged in front of the ICJ by the end of next week. How awesome would that be? Check this video out. Let me know what you think.
A polícia militar acaba de prender aqui israelenses que estava tumultuando na manifestação pró-Palestina. O israelense aqui agora acaba de ser preso em Itacaré. O israelense acaba de ser preso aqui na Pituma, em Itacaré. Estava badernando na manifestação pró-Palestina. Polícia Militar de Itacaré aqui atuando forte na manifestação. O tumulto aqui tá grande, né? Na Pituma.
Man, if anybody could read, let me know what they saying. Shit. Put that shit in the comments, because I don't know what's going on, because I can't speak it, which is part of what they do with the damn media anyway. So, yeah, let's continue.
The world is a show, ladies and gentlemen. What if I told you that Donald Trump is actually King's cousin? My name's Derek, Static G. Follow me for more.
Follow him for more. Shit. Oh. I don't even know what to say to that one.
Breaking news! How fucking tired of you hearing that. So,
I like
for all of you fucking Christian Zionists that exist in the United States, this little treat is for you. Al-Qaeda has officially declared that they're joining the war in the Middle East on behalf of Israel. The terrorist organization Al-Qaeda is declaring for Israel. They are going to help Israel in its ground efforts against Lebanon. And for those of you who don't know, Lebanon is a primarily Christian country. Okay? Lebanon, Syria, these countries are heavily Christian. Tons of Christians. Okay, bye.
Make with that what you will. I don't understand all these people spewing so much hate and then talk about some Christian shit right after. Let's go.
If you have a U.S. education, you're going to want to watch this. So many of you are finding out right now that you've been lied to your entire lives. And some of you are unaware of how much you were lied to about the events of World War II. And I want to start with those. So, as an American, we're taught that America won the war, we saved the day, we did nothing wrong, that the only victims of the war were Jewish people in the Holocaust, and that all of the Nazis were Aryan, white supremacists, and they're all bad. And for the most part, they are all bad. That part's true, especially Hitler. But what they omitted from you were things that were used to subjugate other people, subjugate us, take away from the communist cause, and I'll explain right now. So, what we learned is 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust. That's all most Americans hear as they're growing up, at least millennials, Gen X. They never tell you that 27 million Russians were killed. 19 million of them were civilians. So Russia had the worst loss of life in World War II. They also won the war.
Crazy.
They're the reason that Hitler does not have all of Europe and who knows what else. They don't tell you that many of his generals were Jewish. They don't tell you there's 150,000 Jewish members of the Nazi army. They do not tell you that it was mainly just working class and poor Jews that were killed. They don't tell you that like Einstein and Rothschilds and all the upper class escaped and basically faced no consequences, and those are the ones that pushed for Zionism and the ones that are the ruling class of the U.S. and Israel. So you go back to the Holocaust and you do some research, you find out that communists and people in trade unions and anarchists were the first people put in a concentration camp. The first concentration
Here we go.
camp was built exclusively for communists. That was it. No ethnicity, no race. They're not worried about that. Next group, gay people, especially gay men. Gay men had the worst survival rates of any people put into the concentration camps.
You don't say that makes sense though.
Romani people, disabled people, Slavic people, like people from Russia or Eastern Europe, and then Jews. And Jews suffered hugely, but their suffering wasn't unique, especially historically speaking. Black people have suffered, Native Americans have suffered, people in the Middle East have suffered.
That one was long as hell. I ain't finna finish that one, but yeah, we all suffered. Fuck what they talking about, but I don't understand it. They say we supposed to help the Jews in the war, but now it's fuck America. Death to America, whatever the fuck they want.
So I wanted to start off by just saying I apologize because I'm probably going to make people feel very uncomfortable, especially if you served in our military and you went overseas and you took bullets or maybe you took somebody's life on behalf of our government because you thought we were the good guys invading Iran or Afghanistan. I apologize, but I need to let you in on a little secret. I think we have another 9/11 style attack that may or may not be about to take place on U.S. soil, and all of the groundwork is being laid for a full-blown war in Iran. Now, which just came out an hour ago. So Trump just announced that he's sending our largest aircraft carrier. Now, this is the second aircraft carrier on top of the Armada that he's already sent over there. So we have a full military fleet ready to engage. And now we're sending in, the holy grail of military ships, okay? We also have Laura Looper over here who's been warning us, pretty much weekly, that there's
I go lie like his screen he got.
and just like a month ago, she gets promoted into the Pentagon Press Corps. I think all of the groundwork is being laid for a 9/11 style attack. In order to explain that, we really need to go in history. We had 3 attacks. I want to talk about the Levant affair, I want to talk about the King David bomb, and I want to talk about the USS Liberty. So let's just dive into it, and let's kick things off.
Excuse me.
I agree, false flag operations are absolutely insane. So, back in the year 1954, Israel was a bit uncomfortable with its neighbor, Egypt, and they feared that the British leaving the Suez Canal would lead to a rise in Egyptian nationalism which could harm their border. So they came up with a plan. Named after the Israeli Prime Minister Lavin, the Lavin affair was a false flag operation in which Israeli operatives would plant bombs all across Egypt. The bombs would be planted in American and British-owned businesses. And what Israel hoped would happen is that after the bombs exploded, the British would actually increase their military presence in Egypt, thereby reducing it as a threat. But this did not work. So as an example of one of the bombings, what they used were explosive books. Specifically, operatives would use books that had acid and nitroglycerin in them. As the acid ate through the books, it would reach the nitroglycerin, causing them to explode after hours in libraries. Unfortunately, the Israelis, one of their operatives was caught outside of the Rio Theater and the bomb went off in his pocket. Some members of the cell managed to escape, but most were caught and committed suicide or were executed.
Wow.
The reason I'm making this video is for the parents out there. I don't know if you were like myself, but about 4 years ago, not so far back in the distant past, I used to believe that the most honorable thing you could do was serve your country. There was nothing more honorable than putting on a uniform to the point where I have one son, and I thought to myself, if my only son wanted to join the military, I would support it 100%. Thanks especially imagine when Trump came back to office, how many of us thought, wow, now is the perfect time for our children to go join the military. The president of peace, he's not ready to get us into a war. They're going to go to basic training. Once they're through that, they'll get a civil desk position, maybe a position overseas, they can travel the world. And then we started to realize, wait, in 2021, 2022, they mandated the COVID-19 vaccine on our military. And I started to think to myself, wow, my son's going to have to get all of those other jabs, at least 72 of the childhood vaccines for all the military jabs. He's going to be chemically castrated or a big pharma cancer patient for the rest of his life to go serve his country. So I started to think to myself, and I started to dig in to why we went to war with Iran, why we went to war with Iraq. And then I started to find out about these false flag attacks. And then I heard about the USS Liberty, and it all blew my mind. Check this out.
So USS Liberty, I'll give you like a quick breakdown of it. Basically, Israel was at war, and they wanted to drag the U.S. into the war with them. So they attacked one of our Navy ships. And they did, I mean, it wasn't just like a regular attack. They were like napalming the decks, blowing up the life rafts. They torpedoed the ship. I mean, they just, went at this ship for like an hour and a half. We had called in SOS calls. We're supposedly their ally. And their goal was to sink this ship. They had 4 torpedo boats, like they had multiple gunships, helicopters, and they wanted to blame it on the people they were fighting, false flag attacks, and then we would go and fight the people that, they're at war with. And they did the same thing with the Lebanon affair, and, I think they did the same exact thing with 9/11. So they've got a history of these false flag attacks, but when I read about the USS Liberty, that one kind of hit home because they put a gag order on these people, killed all these, U.S. Navy guys, and the goal was to blame it on the people that are fighting. And, I'm just like, how the are we allies of a country that's attacked us multiple times, stolen our secrets? As you start to learn more and more, it's all bad. There's no good. They've done nothing for us ever. And we just constantly send them money. And we sent them, depending on if you want to go with the Newsweek or, the Brown University study, we've given them in aid, between what we've given them, the war on terror, and all the things we've done for them, between 20 and 30 trillion. So it's almost like our entire national deficit is our support of Israel. And they've done nothing for us.
What irritates me the most about this is I was in the 9/11 situation. I was in 9th grade when 9/11 happened. My friends that were seniors in high school were signing up to go to war. And you want to know what? I brought home quite a few of my friends in body bags. For one, why did they go over to the Middle East? Why were they forced into that war? Why were they brainwashed and indoctrinated into believing it? They weren't forced into it. They were in line, signing up, ready to go fight for our country and take bullets down range. For what, guys? That made me start thinking even more of these false flags because I want to see on these warnings.
Yeah, I'm doing this shit late, so we out here. Let's go. Mind my yawns.
On July 22, 1946, Zionist Jewish terror organization, the Irgun, bombed the British administrative headquarters located in the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, killing 91 people. One of the first terrorist attacks of the 20th century, and described as the beginning of terrorism as a media event, the bombing made headlines and shocked the world. The Irgun was an even more extreme offshoot of the already extreme Haganah, whom the Irgun believed were not acting aggressively enough against British rule in Palestine. The illegal Zionist movement, notorious for committing acts of terror against both the Palestinians as well as the British, had declared war on Britain in 1944, essentially for imposing strict limits on the number of Jews fleeing Europe to enter Palestine. These foreigners called themselves the Jewish Resistance, and to them, Britain was a foreign occupier in their homeland. Ironic, isn't it? 16 months after the bombing, the British, who had failed to suppress terrorism in Palestine, announced their decision to withdraw by 1948, allowing for the illegitimate state of Israel to be established. This terrorism is not a thing of the past. The Haganah, Irgun, and Stern, the founding fathers of modern terrorism, later merged to form the Israeli army. Until this day, they continue to commit terror on a daily basis, while also backing Jewish settler violence against the Palestinian people. Zionism has been terrorism since day one.
All I'm trying to do is share truthful information with the American people. So I understand if you're not comfortable sharing this video, understand that, this may not be your type of content, but, call me a lot of things, but you can't call me a liar. Choose
This shit get crazy. Hey, that's it for this one. Let me catch y'all in the next one. We gonna get the fuck out of here. Hope everybody be safe, y'all. Be safe, be safe, be safe. Catch.
Hype me up, I've been down too long. Now I'm back and I'm feeling too strong. No cap reactions, yeah, the whole crew on. When I drop, everybody sing along. Baby up, baby up.